Here you see Chip Hanauer setting his watch for Heat 2A. Let's go down to the Renault camp with Jim Hendrick.
They're getting prepared to go out now here down in Heat 2A. Let's talk to Milner Irvin. Any comments on the course, Milner?
No, Jim, it's really nice out there. It wasn't bumpy at all, except in third-place water. You always got that kind of water.
Notice you're talking to Jerry Shineth, the boat owner. Jerry, any strategy for this one?
When you get all the heats that we have to finish, we're counting points early already.
So it looks like they'll sit and settle for second or third, get enough points in the final down, and, of course, then it's winner take all. Back up to you.
All right, Jim, while we're here, let's look at the point situation going into 2A. Budweiser sitting pretty. Atlas Van Lines, the Renault with a third-place finish last heat, Executone, and no points for the bottom two boats there, so they need some help coming into 2A. Now let's set the stage for 2A. On the inside is the Renault, then the Atlas Van Lines as they go around the west turn, getting ready for the start. You see the Executone next to the Budweiser getting almost blown over by the prop wash of the Budweiser. It appears the Executone's all right. Here comes the start of Heat 2A. Jim Krupfeld of the Budweiser in lane number 3, pouring it on, going around the outside. You see the Atlas Van Lines behind him, and on the inside, the Renault with Milner Irvin. Bouncing along is the Budweiser. Oh, my. Jim Krupfeld going for quite a ride as he goes around the turn. Here comes the Executone Telephones in fourth place. George Johnson appears to be all right, and he's still rolling. Here's the challenge. Again, just like Heat 1A, the Bud against the Atlas. Again, the Atlas in lane number 1, the Budweiser in lane number 2 as they go down the back chute. This is some of the fastest racing in the history of this sport as those two boats go down the back chute. Third place is the Renault with Milner Irvin into the west turn. Oh, look at the turn by the turbine engine and the Atlas Van Lines with Chip Hanauer. He's now deck to deck with a Budweiser. He now has the lead. What a turn by Chip Hanauer in the turbine-powered Atlas Van Line. Chip Hanauer is screaming down the main chute. Let's get a time. 137.7 miles per hour. Here you see part of the crew. That is a new national record for a 2.5-mile competition lap. Fran Muncie, you see, there's Jim Lucero, the team manager. He's not even watching the race. He's looking ahead, I guess. But that is a new national record set by that boat for one lap in competition. 137.7, just beating that man right there, Jim Krupfeld, who set the record earlier in Heat 1A. Third place still belongs to Milner Irvin and the Miss Renault as he goes into that rather choppy water, as he calls it, third place water. Fourth place goes to the Executone Telephone. Kenny Toyota, there he is. Earl Hall making his debut in 1984. He drove the Squire shop in 1983. Look at this boat. Look how well it corners. The low center of gravity. That's one of the big bonuses for the turbine-powered boats. The engines are lower. They're lighter. The boat itself, absolutely perfect in aerodynamic design. Built and designed by Jim Lucero. This Ron Jones hull, let's face it, it's one of the all-time greatest hulls in the business, the Budweiser, and that is the leader, the Atlas Van Lines with Chip Hanauer. Milner Irvin out of Miami, Florida. Coral Gables as he comes down in third place here in Heat 2A on the Columbia River, and my goodness, he's going for a ride too today. Atlas behaving quite well. It rides over this rather rough water now quite well as he goes down the back chute now. Along that probably over 100,000 people today. But he is in control in first place. Still, third place to Renault with Milner Irvin. Got the new wing back on there after losing it in Detroit 2 weeks ago. The Atlas Van Lines came out of Detroit not too badly beat up, really. They had trouble getting it started, though, for the final with the rough water and the wash coming over into the turbine engine. Budweiser in second. You see the huge lead now by the Atlas Van Lines here on this 2.5-mile course on the Columbia River. The Budweiser, still one of the most beautiful boats in the business. It will be retired. Bernie Little, the owner, has already said we're going turbine in 1985. The Atlas Van Lines, Chip Hanauer, first place, going after 400 points. If he does so, he will have 700 for the day and sitting quite pretty for the final, or getting into the final. Of course, we have one more flight, 3A and 3B, as well as 2B coming up. Here's your battle for third and fourth place. The Executone Telephone on the outside with George Johnson on the right. In third place is Milner Irvin and the Renault. Here comes the Executone. George Johnson paying the price, getting a little more air into that boat than he would like to. But here is your leader and appears to be the winner for Heat 2A. Chip Hanauer coming around for the checkered flag down the main chute. He'll pick up another 400 points for the Atlas Van Lines. Chip Hanauer, winner of Heat 2A. Second place to Jim Krupfeld. He'll pick up 300 points. That will give him 700 for the day, tied with the Atlas Van Lines. The Budweiser So for the day, here's how it stands point-wise. The Budweiser and Atlas van lines tied at 700. You see the rest of them, the Executone, Renault, Kenny Toyota, and still a tough day for Scott Pierce and the Aboy Alberto. Let's go to Jim Henrik with the winner of 2A.
Okay, Don, we have the winner, of course, of Heat 2A, and I tell you, you guys are going fast today.
Yeah, it's going to be a good Gold Cup. You know, everybody's going real fast, and everybody's boats riding good, so I think it's going to be a fast, safe race.
You saved it the first time you went against the Bud, and he saved it this time. Is that the way you see it?
Oh, yeah. You know, there's no point. You know, 3 preliminary heats for a Gold Cup is one more than we're used to, so we got to keep everything together.
Okay, Don, that's the story down here at the Atlas Van Lines camp. Back up to you.
Jim, let's go back to moments before the start of the race. The Executone Telephones in the middle suddenly goes behind the Budweiser, and there, George Johnson in the Executone Telephones goes about 30 degrees up into the air, but disaster is avoided. We'll be back.